This is week 8, and I want to cover a few things. The first thing is regarding the midterm. I realized, according to the syllabus, we didn't cover diff up, diff down until week 8, after the exam, the midterm. So I've made that question a bonus question. You may notice the test is now marked at 29. So if you got that question correct, it was a bonus. If you didn't, you didn't lose any marks. And I want to start with math functions. Math functions are in the toolbox under the math section. There are a host of functions available, but we're going to deal basically initially with add, subtract, multiply, and divide. These are functions. They don't require an instance name like timer_1 or anything else. They just, when they are enabled, when their en input goes high, they take on an add function, they will take whatever is on these two inputs, add them, and store the result on the output, which will be a variable. The inputs can be hard numbers, integer, hash, int hash 25, int hash 50, which would give a result of int hash 75. These can also be variables. So you can move different numbers in and out and have them added up. The data types can be integers in all forms, long integers, double integers, unsigned, etc. They can be real numbers, which means you're carrying decimal points. If you are doing some math functions and you're using integer types of data, the decimals are truncated. So for more accuracy, you may want to go to real if it's required. Otherwise, the integers will work. Anytime you want, you can simply highlight the function, press the F1 key, and it will bring up the help menu. And the help menu will look something like this. Here's a subtract help menu. It gives you the information about it. What's this look like? I can put an add function here. I can put two variables as inputs, and I can have a total. In this case, we might be counting money put into a machine. So anytime the change closes, it will take that money, which maybe is set to be 25. I could change that to be int hash 25, and it will add 25 to our running total, whatever we have for a total, and store it in total. The more 25-cent quarters you dump into a machine, it will keep incrementing the total. The problem is it may take 25, 30 milliseconds for the coin to fall past the sensor, and every program scan, it will add another 25 cents to your running total. That's when you would take this, right-click on it, and make it a diff up. Then you get an arrow, which means when this goes high, a coin is passing the sensor, it will process that one time. It will add 25 once and wait for this to open again, and will not count again or add again until the next quarter gets dropped through the slot. Then we'll add another 25 cents. So that's a diff up. A diff up does this on a rising edge transition. I can make it a diff down so it wouldn't count until the quarter passes, and then it will give us the count, which would be a diff down. Subtract is the same thing, but pay particular attention to the function. It gives you the expression. It is taking the value of in1 and subtracting the value of in2 from it. If you get these reversed, your function is going to be messed up. So if your numbers keep going up or going negative, you may be having the two inputs reversed. So remember, what is subtracted from what? In2 is subtracted from in1. Multiply is similar. Again, it's a function. The enable makes it process the inputs and store the outputs. Note IN, capital N, means maybe there's more than one input. You can add more items to an input simply by right-clicking on the function, add input. Now I have 3 inputs. Or I could delete one of those and go back to 2 inputs. Nothing unusual about that. Again, integers, data type, real data type, or they can be strings. If you have a string function, you can put strings of data, literal. You can put letters here, or you can put a variable in there that contains a string. A string is just text. So the data type would have to be type string. You could say input 1, for example, I could make input 1 here a string that says the injection molder number 22 is, and string 2, you can put in a condition string, which could be online, offline, faulted, in alarm condition, and then you could take the total string, which is just basically all the text appended together. So it would take all of the text on the inputs and append it together. So you could say, display the output on an HMI. So the status report would be that the machine is online, the machine is offline, the machine is faulted, and then set an alarm. Very convenient. Multiply and divide work the same way. When you get division, you sometimes end up with decimals. So if your data type is int, the decimals are truncated. If your data type is real, the decimals are carried through into your result. And those are, if you play with them, make up a little screen, put in some numbers, run it, and you'll see that it works just fine. Those you'll get very comfortable with very quickly. They're very straightforward. If we look at the toolbox under Math, you can see that we have a lot of functions, absolute values. It has trig values, sine, arcsine, tangent, arctan. Anything that you need pretty much is available in the Math functions. Okay, the next thing I want to cover, and you're going to be using this for your traffic light lab, are comparisons. Now, comparisons, again, under the Comparison tab, you have the standard ones, less than or equal, less than or greater than, equal, greater than or equal. You can even get one that says, and these are repeated, equal, greater than or equal to. NE is not equal to, so as long as it's not equal to a specific number. And you can have ASCII strings, could be less than an ASCII string, less than, shorter, less letters, different. So again, if you're doing those values, you have access to all of those functions. Now, a zone compare basically creates a window. You have a minimum value and a maximum value, and then you have the input variable that you're comparing. Does it fit within this window? If your variable, say you're checking for temperature, if your temperature is between the minimum and maximum, the output will be turned on. You could be checking for time. The inputs can be data type time. And these are less than or equal to. So if your value is less than the maximum or equal to the maximum, or greater than the minimum or equal to the minimum, then the statement will be true and the output will be energized. You can use time, you can use date, time of day. Different formats are available, so you can be checking for dates on certain functions. Right.